I reminisce.
Here we
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah,
You'd let me interview you.
that did look weird. He's like, yeah.
sure.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Oh, she don't know
Miss
he's
Lane.
Superman.
Recently, you've come
like
under
his
a lot of
voice.
fire for
I
what
know,
some
it's a
might.
lot of
It's
fire,
a
but-
lot.
I'd
Today,
have
the
turned
Secretary of
around
Defense
and
said
turned him
he's gonna
into
look into your
mist.
actions. That's funny.
My actions? I stopped a war.
Yeah, but ain't nobody asked you to.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
War is
In effect,
good.
you illegally entered a country.
This is
Who
how
is
you're gonna
that?
I'm not
That
the
woman.
one being interviewed, Superman.
Oh, damn.
Did you consult with the president?
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative of
I
the
wasn't
United States will
representing
cause
anybody
more
except for me.
problems around the world. More.
And doing
Oh.
good.
I would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die.
Ooh, so young, so angry. Damn that rap music. Damn, he like, fuck. Anybody get the number of that train
Hey,
hit?
buddy. Eyes up here.
Yeah, this one he like, okay. That outfit. Kind of reminds me of the.
Choices.
Oh, damn. Hi, Crypto.
Your actions. That's what makes you.
What the hell is going on out
who you
there?
are.
Let's break his shoulders.
Superman. He's not a man. He's an it.
You're not brave.
Somehow become the focal point
Man
of
of brave.
the world's conversation. I will not.
Oh, I don't mind Mr. Terrific. Like people talk about he looks like a black exploitation
I'll go get him for you.
character. I don't remember how old. Oh, I thought he was gonna go through his mouth, like out the back of his head. Okay, I like that. Yeah.
You have a dog?
Gladiators, I salute you. That was good. I like that. I almost want to watch it again, but I'm not going to. Well, maybe I'll go through some of. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. I like Crypto. You gotta like the dog. Like, come on. I'm curious who that is. Is that Zod? I wonder. And I always forget the woman's name. It's not Ursula, is it? Oh yeah, the woman, Kryptonian that's with Zod. They did it in Man of Steel. I mean, yeah, Man of Steel. I'm about to say Batman vs Superman, but I'm getting confused. I'm thinking about the Christopher Reeve Superman. They did Superman 2. They had Zod in it. Her suit, it kind of reminded me. I was about to say it. The trailer, but I wanted to hear what was going on. Kind of reminds me of the Sentinel from Days of Future Past movie. Like the way they kind of like change to mimic. It's almost, it kind of reminiscent of. I think they said that in that movie too. Like they got that technology, or they, I don't know, reverse engineered how Mystique changed in other people, like shapeshift. So, and they were able to make that the machine be able to do it. That's why the machine was able to counteract everybody's abilities and was killing all the mutants. It kind of reminded me of that, or like maybe it's nano machines or something. And like she walked out, look at me. I was like, okay, you know, skin tight suit, I see it. And I don't know who that big thing was. for like a second. I was like, that Juggernaut. Yeah, I was like, and he could fly. But that looked interesting. I was like, damn, he fighting a bunch of shit. And this is not even like, oh, he just fighting one thing. Because clearly we knew he was going to be fighting something. Because in the first trailer, I mean, they show him crash land and he's bleeding and shit. So I'm like, and he had to take a solar bath, basically. So you knew something was going to happen. I didn't know if that was kryptonite like they did with what was the name of that movie? Superman Returns. Where he land on that kryptonite island and got his ass whooped and shanked by Lex Luthor. I was like, maybe that, and he was able to get off of it, but then now we see he's actually like fighting. Who's that slammed his head? I feel like he was talking, and they're like, "Shut up!" He just slammed his head. You speak when spoken to. And then everybody's like, you didn't talk to the president. And I mean, I get that because like you represent them. I'm representing myself. But I can understand what they're like. But if you claim to be American, or you seem to be in America, that seems to be your base of operation, and then you go to another country and stop a war that was going on between those two countries, or if there's a civil war or whatever's going on, just a war, and you decide to step in, then yeah, we could look at it like, you know what, he just stopped it. It wasn't like he chose sides, he chose a side or another. He just, hey, y'all need to stop fighting and figure this shit out in a diplomatic manner, like stop shooting each other. I can understand that, but you can also understand, like, if he took sides, which I'm sure he didn't, but even then they're like, what the fuck, who the hell is this dude, this American coming over here with these superpowers telling us what we gonna do? People gonna look at that like that, because you always kind of put yourself on the other foot, where it's like, well, how would you feel if somebody did that to you? But like I said, he's just stopping the war. He's like, I'm not representing anybody. At least he didn't feel that way. That's the same thing as if you, like, I know when I was in the military, they didn't want us to talk in uniform or go to any protests, anything in uniform. They're like, you can do what you want to on your time, but don't go in uniform, because people will automatically assume that you're representing I was in the Air Force. You're representing the Air Force. So when you're in uniform, you go to a protest, people are going to take that as, oh, the Air Force is condoning whatever this protest is, or that, even though that's not the case at all. But just the sheer fact that you are in uniform, people are going to try to spin it that way, even though, like, you could not say anything. And people would just say, oh, the Air Force is condoning this protest or whatever it is. Like, if it's like someone went to a damn Nazi rally and they were in uniform, one thing, they're gonna get kicked out in a second. Or hell, if I went to like a Black Lives Matter protest, like, I would get kicked out, and I got seen especially if I got seen on camera, or if I went and I was in uniform and just so happens a higher up, like a officer, even he had to be in my squadron, it could be an officer in another squadron, and they see me, they like, hey, you saw what's the name in uniform at this protest. And then that gets back to my chain of command, and they were like, they called me in the office talking about staying at attention. I'm like, oh shit. But yeah, it's like, you can't, like you could say, hey, he stopped the war. You like, hey, I agree with him, but it kind of reminds me of they've done this so many times in comic books and stuff, like the Hero Registration Act was like, you need to you can't just go around doing whatever you want and endangering people without telling them and stuff like that. People getting killed, and like you need to be held accountable. You need to be reined in some, because you can't just do shit willy nilly. Just like in the movies when they did that, was like, hey, you went and did this mission. You didn't, far as we know, they didn't say, but it seemed like the Avengers didn't notify anybody that they were there to do that mission. Well, I want to say Winter Soldier. That's not it. I did not say it already. Why am I forgetting the name of that movie? I keep wanting to say Endgame. It was an Avengers movie. Wait a minute. It wasn't Winter Soldier. Oh, I can't. Wait, it was the Winter Soldier. Yeah, because Bucky was framed, and that was the same one with T'Challa's father got killed, T'Chaka, and they framed him. That was the whole Accord. Yeah, okay, so it was. I said, yeah. I'm like, it wasn't Age of Ultron. Like, but yeah, you didn't tell anybody about the operation, so these people get blindsided, and a bunch of people get killed, and then you like, you go home. They're like, what the? No, you can't be. No, people in our country, people like Wakanda was like people from our country were in that building, and it blew up. Like, yeah, you trying to stop somebody, did these people, but you didn't tell anybody. So they could have been. This could have been different, or people would have. It would have been more cooperation. But see, no one knew this was happening. I mean, they didn't know what was going to happen till the last minute, because they figured out, oh, they're hitting this place over here. They figured that out right there. All they was doing was surveillance on them until they figured out at the last minute what they were doing, what they were getting ready to do. So I get that, but you could have told, hey, we surveilling these people. We don't know what they're doing. We're trying to figure it out. But they didn't say that. And then they're like, hey, you can't be, working on your own, going to different places on your own, doing stuff, and not letting us know. And then, they like, well, we don't want to work. Now, I get the government was trying to control them to the point where it's like, you go where we tell you to go, which I didn't like. And I will say I didn't like. I wouldn't do that shit either. I'd be like, hey, no. This accountability is important. But we tell you, like, hey, this is going on over here. We get a cooperation. This is going on over here. We need to go over there. You let them know, through the proper channels. Now, I get certain things could be like, well, you could have, just like in the Winter Soldier, where wait, was it? Now I'm forgetting. That wasn't the Winter Soldier, because Winter Soldier, Bucky hadn't been broken yet. No, what was that? Avengers. It wasn't Infinity War. Civil War. Damn it. Yeah, I know I'm talking about Marvel now. I just drawing a comparison between what was going on here in this trailer, as far as like, dude, what you doing? Why you going over here stopping stuff? Like, yeah, you stopped the war, but you didn't talk to anybody. You just went over there and just stopped it. And they feel like, especially humans, because when we feel like we don't have control of a situation, which is the same way Lex feels. Like, Superman's here, but also Lex is also a narcissist, because he's like, well, I'm supposed to be like the man of tomorrow type person, and this alien is here doing it. And also people are going to become dependent on him, and we won't advance as a species anymore because we'll just be solely dependent on him. Instead, I was like, I mean, of course, all this is bullshit for Lex justifying why he wants to kill Superman. I mean, like, all that's bullshit. Like, I don't remember what comic book it was. I remember in a comic book where Superman was telling Lex, he's like, you could have cured diseases. You could have brought nations together. You could have probably brought like almost total peace on earth just with your mind almost alone. And he said, but you chose not to. You chose to fixate on me because even before Superman was a thing, you were already doing underhanded, shady shit because you want power and you want influence, and you also want notoriety and appreciation from people, no matter how you get it, But then Superman comes on the scene, and you feel like, well, I don't matter anymore. Like you, like the smartest person. Like Lex Luthor, I think, is arguably these top 5 smartest people on the planet. So I know they sometimes go back and forth. Like, he's the smartest human, at least on the planet anyway. And Batman, I don't know, they kind of swap sometimes depending on who's writing it. But Superman was like, you could have done so many great things, but you were so fixated on killing me that you just became a criminal. And now look, now you're going to prison and now what? And you're still a criminal. You still could have fixed things, and you hyper focused on me because of your narcissism, But yeah, I guess you don't want to become like Frank Miller's Superman, where he's like, he becomes a government just stooge. He does whatever the fucking government tells him to do, and even killing, or not killing. He didn't kill anybody. At least I don't remember him killing anybody. I know he like cut off Green Arrow's arm, and he like basically made everybody. He's like, Justice League breaking up. Everybody go back. Wonder Woman goes back to Themyscira. Batman, you go back to Gotham. Green Arrow's like, I don't like this shit. Superman's like, all right, now you're short an arm. Good luck, using that bow, even though he still used it. Green Arrow, if anything, he's a crafty guy, but he's a clever guy. But like that Superman was just because Frank Miller hates Superman, so he's like, I make this Superman basically the villain, or like a general to the main villain, I guess, or at least the government's kind of like the villain. But this Superman was like, man, he's like, it seems like he's new, obviously. I'm just trying to help. All right, but then when you help, you can fuck up, or people are like, I don't like the way you helped. Like, yeah, you helped, but I don't like it. I don't like that you get all this power. I don't like that you can just do whatever, because at any moment you can just decide, you know what, fuck the humans, because I think people look at like, oh, if I had that power, you would become, I wouldn't say Brightburn. I was about to say Brightburn, but that kid was just a fucking, like a weapon who would just brutally murder any and everybody. You would probably become like Homelander, or there's Ultraman, part of the Superman that's part of like the crime syndicate. Like, you would become that, where you would pretty much be like, you know what? You just wake up one day like, I can just take over. Like, there's nobody to stop me. Now, clearly in this movie, there are things that can stop him. But like, if you were like the only superpower being like Dr. Manhattan or some shit, like on the planet, you're like, I could just take over. Yeah, you go to the UN and like, yeah, I'm taking over. I'm gonna take over like whatever place you like. Yeah, I'm gonna take, I don't know, like France over or something. I don't know, that's the first country in my head. I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna build a castle like there, yeah. And I'm just gonna take over. And anybody got a problem with that? Any question? Somebody said, yeah. And he just boom, laser and blow his head off, and like, anybody else want to go shit? Smart. And That's why I feel like most people would be like that. So of course, something like Superman is so unreal to them, like because he's too much of a Boy Scout. Like, no, people wouldn't be like that. They have powers. Like, if you just had powers. And then of course he grew up with good parents and stuff like that taught him right from wrong. So anyway, I'm gonna ramble too much. Hope you enjoyed my reaction. When I enjoyed that, let me know down below what you all think. Make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. Comment down below, share this video. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.